I was not so frightened in the war zones of Angola or Rwanda as I was when this story hit. Ariel School, 19th September 94, 12:12 local time.
Just come and sit on these chairs along here. Did you all see something?
Yes.
Were you afraid?
Yes.
And what happened, Guy?
Well, it was just glinting in the trees. And there was a man.
And what did he look like?
His face was like this, and his eyes were down here.
I hope that this film gets massive exposure and it gets people thinking about experiences they've heard about and maybe going and researching the history. It's there, and I know viewers that are watching this, they will see it and they will feel kind of vindicated, and they'll go, you know, boy, those kids are telling the truth. And I was telling the truth when I had my experience, and it's going to provide a lot of reinforcement. It kind of gives me a sense of satisfaction and vindication, really, because I've had an opportunity to speak about it in many different media, and you know, it's amazing. Everywhere I go, interviewers say to me, well, I've had an experience, or my wife has had, or my father, or something happened to us when we were kids, and you know, so.
Sure, it wasn't a Harrier jump jet or an aircraft?
No.
Something that the Zimbabwe Air Force
It was like
got?
in a disc.
This one thing sitting on the side, and another thing sort of like running up and down the top.
Running up and down like he was confused.
He had a big head and big black eyes.
I was just a hard-ass journalist, skeptical as everybody would be. And it was the same story. And I started getting goosebumps.
I don't know, I just thought it was some kind of alien from a different planet.
I was out of my depth. And then I got in touch with Harvard University and Dr. John Mack.
You think it's possible that one imaginative child had a story and kind of stirred the rest of them?
I don't believe. I honestly believe they saw something, but for me to actually draw a conclusion as to what it is, I don't think I could do that at this point in time.
What is going to emerge from this story is that the children who were in that schoolyard really did experience a supernormal event.
Just in between the gap of this one distance behind this pile of dirt.
I can see there.
They can't have been fabricating this.
There was one girl, Haley.
Yeah.
She ran into this bush, and about 5 minutes afterwards, she came running out, screaming her head off.
What made you scream?
I was just getting very scared.
What were you scared would happen?
And I thought the aliens would attack me.
Would attack you and do what? Hurt you?
Yes.
How would they do that?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
John Mack seemed to have brought out that information because we just took it in a very analytical way. We just said, what did you see? And what did the aliens look like? What did they do? But we never thought there might be some kind of emotional, deeper effect.
You were saying that you thought that they maybe were trying to tell us something, like about the future. Can you say more what your thought is? What was it like?
It was like in the world, all the trees will just go down and there will be no air and people will be dying.
I don't think the world has given John Mack and his work the recognition that it deserves. I think maybe this film may help. In time, I think he may be seen as a figure that really shattered convention in the face of governmental and societal oppression. You know, this isn't new. We've been looking at this since the Bible reported Ezekiel's wheel. I would hope that it builds an interest so that people go back and look at the research that has been done before this and say, this is not new. He's not onto something new here. He's just verifying it in a scientific way with his academic credentials. And I guess the button on it all is the case that he was working on, which is the subject of your documentary. You bring the children into the modern age.
How about you? Good, yeah.
We saw this and the beings from the stars.
Oh God, I'm being a house.
You know, this is where it happened. This is where it really ended.
I didn't want to deal with
it.
Coming here and remembering all this stuff. So 20 years later,
we still have the same story.
I don't care if people think I'm crazy. I really don't.
It happened.
You bring the children to a point where they're interviewed now, many years after the experience. And again, it points to where and how the planet can benefit from these people's experiences.
They do exist. Like I say, I'm a Christian in my beliefs, my core beliefs, but that doesn't mean to say that I think there's no other types of forms of life that exist in the universe.
I don't think we need to worry. I think we're just curious, just, fascinated by other beings in the universe. I think we would be doing the same if we had the technology.
It taught me to never doubt myself. We're taught to believe as a society that, only these things can happen because this is what it has been. But you have to have an open mind. This experience has taught me that.
If there was one experience I'd like to relive, it would be that particular experience, where that's led me to being who I am today.
He has never stopped talking about it, and he has believed all the time that it did happen.
It's a long story, is the answer. I think the answer will come maybe in this lifetime, maybe in the next.
This is not going to end at all, for sure. It's not like it's only the beginning.
We can't change the world, but we can make a difference.
We can.
That's the message I would have in my heart from what I experienced.
We've got a long way to go to make the world aware, and I think this film could be what sets it right. I'm really excited to see it.